New York police officer Nick Spitz, Adam Sandler, has recently flunked his detective exam, but he's too embarrassed to tell his hairdresser wife, Audrey Jennifer Aniston. Following a celebration for their 15th wedding anniversary, Audrey questions Nick about their unfulfilled dream of visiting Europe, despite his promises when they first got married. Nick, known for his frugal ways and lack of romantic gestures, panics and claims that he had intended to surprise Audrey with a trip to Europe. The couple sets off on their adventure. On their flight to Europe, Audrey befriends Charles Cavendish, Luke Evans, whose fiancée recently left him to marry his uncle. Charles is on his way to attend their yacht party and invites the Spitz couple to join him. Initially hesitant, Nick isn't keen on attending, but Audrey persuades him that the luxurious yacht experience would be far superior to their modest travel plans. Aboard the yacht, the couple meets a colorful cast of characters: Charles's former fiancée Susie Nakamura, Shioli Katsuna, cousin Toby Quince, David Walliams, actress Grace Ballard, Gemma Arterton, race car driver Juan Carlos Rivera, Luis Gerardo Mendez, and Maharaja Vikram Govindhan, Adil Akhtar. Audrey feels uneasy around Colonel Charles Alenga, John Connie, an old friend of Charles's uncle, and his bodyguard, Sergei Rodchenko. Olafur Daryolafson, Malcolm Quince, Terence Stamp, Charles's uncle, makes an appearance to express gratitude for the engagement celebration. He mentions that everyone present is included in his will, but not for long. He accuses them of being parasites undeserving of his fortune. Malcolm reveals that he has drafted a new will, leaving his entire estate to Susie. As he is about to sign the document, the power suddenly cuts out. Amid the chaos of gunshots and screams, the lights come back on to reveal Malcolm, lifeless with a knife plunged into his chest. Upon learning that Nick is a detective, the group looks to him for direction. He instructs everyone to return to their rooms until the yacht reaches land. Nick believes the case is straightforward, with Malcolm's son Toby as the prime suspect. However, Audrey argues that it's too obvious, and suddenly, a gunshot echoes. They discover Toby lifeless, with a gunshot wound to his head. The following morning, Inspector Laurent Delacroix, Danny Boone, arrives to investigate and interviews everyone on board. Each guest highlights the peculiar presence of the American couple during the incident. Delacroix shares his suspicion with the Spitzes, accusing them of being the murderers. Upon the ship's arrival at the dock, the determined couple sets out to vindicate themselves, engaging in conversations with fellow guests to uncover hints. Juan Carlos emerges as a potential suspect due to his father's death at Malcolm's hands. Nick focuses on Charles, but Audrey, fond of Charles, believes Nick's suspicions are driven by jealousy. That evening, they receive an invitation to another room, where they encounter Sergei armed with a gun, who insists they hear him out. Sergei reveals that years earlier, Quince had stolen the colonel's girlfriend, and they bore a child who tragically died during birth. He also mentions that the colonel had inquired about methods to eliminate Quince. As an unexpected knock on the door startles them, the couple hides, only to discover Sergei murdered upon emerging from their hiding spot. They escape through a window, navigating the hotel's exterior ledge, and eventually find themselves in Grace's room. To their surprise, they discover Grace and Vikram in a romantic entanglement. Nick and Audrey catch a glimpse of Delacroix on television, declaring them as the main suspects and announcing they are wanted by the authorities. The broadcast also reveals Nick's dishonesty about being a detective. This revelation leads to an argument between the couple, during which Audrey discovers Nick's deceit regarding the pre-planned trip. Enraged, she departs with Charles. While in the car, Audrey stumbles upon Japanese allergy medication and deduces that Charles is rendezvousing with Susie. She follows him, eventually crossing paths with Nick. Together, they infer that Charles and Susie conspired together. Suddenly, gunshots target them, forcing them to flee. The duo encounters Juan Carlos, who takes them to Susie. She confronts them at gunpoint, only to be hit by a poison dart fired by a masked figure. Nick and Juan Carlos pursue the mysterious attacker, but the assailant manages to evade capture. Nick and Audrey proceed to Charles's mansion to confront him, only to discover his lifeless, poisoned body. Though alarmed, they join forces to unravel the mystery. As the remaining suspects, including Delacroix, gather at the mansion, the couple deduces that Grace is Malcolm's long-lost daughter. previously believed to be dead. They assert that Grace persuaded Toby to murder Malcolm before killing Toby herself. She then attempted to eliminate Nick and Audrey due to their growing suspicions and killed Charles because he loved Susie, not her. Grace denies the allegations, but Audrey uncovers a final piece of evidence implicating her. Grace brandishes a gun and takes Audrey hostage, but Nick shoots her in the shoulder, leading to her arrest. Vikram later points out that Grace was with him when Sergei was killed, prompting Nick and Audrey to identify Juan Carlos as the second killer, who sought vengeance for his family and had feigned his inability to speak English. Juan Carlos takes Delacroix hostage at gunpoint and steals a police car. The Spitsies commandeer a Ferrari and give chase, eventually causing Juan Carlos to crash and rescuing Delacroix. In a final confrontation, Juan Carlos lunges at them once more, only to be struck by the tour bus Nick and Audrey had originally boarded. Delacroix expresses his gratitude to the couple and promises to assist Nick in becoming a detective. In appreciation of their efforts, he presents them with a gift, a picturesque journey aboard the famed Orient Express.